Hello everyone, I'm Heather at Amalgamingle, and as a Ni No Kuni fan, I have yet to find an online source that lists all of the alchemy recipes featured in Wrath of the White Witch, and tells you where to actually get them. So today, I want to do just that for your convenience. I know, please don't cry, everything will be okay now. Anyways, let's jump straight to it. There are 134 alchemy recipes in the game, which can be gained through either completing errands as rewards for story progression or defeating bosses, or through NPC recipe givers. Before I continue, please note that this video contains gameplay spoilers. And I will also clump recipes together by how you get them, but rest assured that all of the recipes will be covered in this video. Alchemy is first introduced after you defeat Alchemy and are rewarded with the Cauldron. The Cauldron is where you will conduct all of your alchemy, and you can choose to follow an alchemy formula or mix and match ingredients, which I only do when I know a recipe by memory and haven't picked up the formula yet. Alchemy gives you your first recipe as part of your alchemy tutorial, which is recipe number 6 for Sprite Dew. Sprite Dew is a useful provision that restores 200 HP to all allies. The tutorial for alchemy is very basic and you are left to mostly figure things out yourself. So let's first talk about NPC recipe givers. The first place you can gain alchemy recipes is from a lady in a boat in Castaway Cove. Luckily, when you gain formulas from recipe givers, they tend to give them to you in bulk, so she hands you 10 new alchemy recipes as shown on the screen. She gives you recipe numbers 1, 2, 7, 8, 13, 18, 23, 28, 33 and 38. This recipe giver is super important because she gives you the formulas to make cappuccinos, which I highly recommend you stock up on because these restore a larger amount of MP than iced coffee or strong coffee. Furthermore, the recipe for carrot cake will come in handy since this will be needed for an errand where a forest dweller asks for a car rock ache, meaning carrot cake. The other recipes given are mainly familiar treats alongside the sandwich and fish burger used to restore HP. The next recipe giver is a pigman dressed in purple stood outside Swift Solutions in Hamelin on the Pig Iron Plains. He gives you 15 new recipes to try out that are primarily provisions, equipment for your familiars and familiar treats. He gives you recipe numbers 3, 5, 9, 11, 14, 19, 24, 29, 34, 39, 58, 78, 100, 116 and 122. Arguably, the most important recipe here is for espressos, which restores more MP than cappuccinos. Furthermore, the familiar treats given can be fed to familiars in the creature cage to increase their familiarity and associated stat, more so than their inferior versions. For example, the Ruby Ripple ice cream is much more potent than other forms of ice cream. Our next batch of alchemy recipes are given to us by a sky pirate hanging around the lower deck of the Iron Wyvern on Skull Mountain, around the same time you meet Kublai. I believe you have to defeat the red dragon before you can get these recipes, but I could be mistaken. I do know that in addition to the 13 new formulas given by the Sky Pirate, you also gain recipe number 43 from Kublai himself that lets you alchemize Jumbo Sundrops. These Jumbo Sundrops can be used to metamorphose a familiar that has a sun astral sign into one of its 2 final forms. The Sky Pirate gives you alchemy recipe numbers 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 70, 79, 87, 90, 103, 111 and 124. These consist of useful familiar treats and equipment. Next, there is an adorable ice fishing Tomte located in Yule in the Winter Wonderlands area. He gives you 13 alchemy recipes that, again, are mostly stronger versions of familiar treats and equipment. You can happily add the following recipes to your list. Recipe numbers 16, 21, 26, 31, 36, 41, 61, 71, 74, 80, 96 and 107. Not really much else to say about this recipe giver, but what I will say is make sure you farm all the twinkling spots in the Winter Wonderlands, because you will find some items here that you can use in alchemy that you won't be able to find elsewhere. The next recipe givers can be found in Perdida, and you get 15 in total. First, there is a boy stood outside Elder Anciana's house who gives you a bunch of recipes as follows. Recipe number 4, 12, 48, 49, 55, 62, 66, 75, 92, 102, 117, 119, 120 and 123. Maybe I should consider becoming a bingo number caller. And now we are gaining some top tier gear for our familiars, so it's worth having a look through and seeing what would be the best equipment to pair your favourite familiars with. After you restore Kulan's broken heart, the Xanadu guard at the entrance of the town gives you recipe number 126 that lets you craft the Herald's harp for Esther. This can only be picked up after the Kulan story concludes, and bear in mind that defeating Kulan's nightmare represents a big difficulty spike in the game, so make sure you are prepared. And that's pretty much all the NPC recipe givers in the game, so let's move on to errands that grant alchemy recipes as rewards for completion. Let's start with the errands that give bulk recipes. Throughout the game you will encounter a husband and wife pair of travelling merchants, and you must complete their chain of errands that become available after arriving in Hamelin. Naturally you must complete their errands in order. The chain begins with errand 36, then 37, 38 and 39 to arrive at errand number 40, a change of heart, which rewards you with alchemy formula and 1,500 guilders. Once you restore the wife's ambition, you are given 13 new recipes, all of which are equipment for your familiars. You will receive recipe numbers 50, 59, 63, 67, 82, 83, 86, 104, 108, 114, 115 and 118. Thankfully this couple's errands are pretty straightforward and mostly requires you to restore one of the two's broken heart, which sometimes means finding a heart piece in a different area, and that's the only time when it can be a pain. Next up is errand number 64, the Hungry Alpaca, where you must agree to help a food-obsessed alpaca in Perdida. The quest becomes available after defeating Kulan's nightmare, and the alpaca in question can be found to the right where you enter Perdida. Use the Nature's Tongue spell to hear all about how this poor creature is tired of its diet of hay and wants to try other things from around the world. He will ask for 4 different things one after the other. First, he wants a babana, which can be gained from Alma Moon, then he wants a glow shrimp, which can be found on Castaway Cove. He then asks for a black truffle from Hamelin, and finally a snow radish from Yule. After you have fulfilled his demands, he will give you alchemy recipe numbers 17, 22, 27, 32, 37 and 42. All of these are familiar treats of course, and are given as rewards alongside 2,500 guilders and a leech gem. The next errand that grants you alchemy formulas is errand number 69, the Runaway Fairies. This errand unlocks after completing errand 53, Boars in the Bushes, that sees you defeating several hyperboars that have moved into the Golden Grove and are causing havoc. The same fairy that asks you to help with the hyperboars asks for your help again for errand 69. He is located at the southern exit of the Golden Grove and asks you to look for his missing friends after they fled from the forest. There are 5 friends that you have to find, and you have to annoyingly return to him each time you find one to find out the location of the next one. The first fairy is hiding behind a wooden fence on the southern part of Skull Mountain. The second is inside the Vault of Tears in a cell. The third has somehow ended up in Motorville, so you have to cast Gateway, then head towards Phil's workshop where the next fairy can be found. The fourth fairy can be found near a skeleton inside the abandoned mine in Autumnia. The fifth and final fairy is inside the forest glade on Jack Frost's playground, which can be found by flying southeast of Yule. The forest glade is in the centre of the island. You can then return to the quest giver to receive your rewards. He gives you alchemy recipe number 76 for Star Eater's Claws and recipe 109 White Stag's Tooth. alongside 2 valuable Collider Stones and 5,000 guilders. Errand 70, the Greatest Treasure, is where you will be rewarded with alchemy recipe numbers 51, 56, 68 and 125 upon completion. This errand sends Oliver and Co on a treasure hunt after a young boy outside the Cat's Cradle in Castaway Cove wants us to investigate a pirate's treasure map. This long-winded quest takes us to 7 different locations marked on the treasure map where you will see stone tablets that we have likely seen scattered around the world many times before. The stone tablets can be found in Shipwreck Shore, Bungler's Bay, the Barrens, Tiny Tim, Swan Island, Billy Goat's Bluff and No Longer Mine. You then have to decipher all the letter sets you gained to get a hint about where to find the treasure. Enter Kublai 3, which stands for Kublai Khan III, and then head to the Iron Wyvern to speak to Kublai. You will then be told of a treasure in the depths of a forest on an island that no ship can reach. Have Tengri fly you to the centre of the Broken Crown, examine the stone tablet, and cast Rejuvenate to reveal the text. Return to the quest giver to receive your alchemy formulas, 2 evil eyes, and 5,000 guilders. The next errand is number 76, the Young Alchemist, found in Castaway Cove, where a young girl walking around in a pink bikini asks you to create a candle cutter and show it to her. To do this, you will need a flint dagger that can be bought at the Alma Moon Quartermaster, and an Ember Stone, which is dropped by sunshine familiars in the Shimmering Sands or Mohawks found on Tahiti. This quest can be a pain if you didn't already know to gather the ingredients before arriving in Castaway Cove, but why would you? Chances are you will have to backtrack to Alma Moon or endure story locking for a while before you can return, especially if you got overexcited after getting the sea cow and set sail straight into the eye of the storm. Anyways, when you show the candle cutter you made to the girl, she will give you recipe numbers 52, 53, 54, 57, 69, 77, 89, 98, 99, 105 and 110. She will also give you 2 rings of bells, 2 whetstones and 400 guilders. After defeating the Tombstone Trail boss, Errand 77, the Forest Alchemists, becomes available. To complete this quest, you have to visit some forest dwellers in a hidden forest glade on Shipwreck Shore and show them that you have alchemised a royal spear. To do this, you will need 2 raw steel, 2 shadow glass and 2 jade marbles. The raw steel and shadow glass can be easily foraged from twinkling spots on the Pig Iron Plains near Hamelin, but the jade marbles are a little harder to come by. You can get them from either battling Pike Tykes, foraged on the Spindle Island east of Autumnia, or you can wait until you can fly and get them from twinkling spots on the raised plateau north of the Shimmering Sands next to the Temple of Trials. Create your royal spear and show the forest dwellers and they will reward you with some powerful alchemy formulas. You will receive recipe numbers 47, 64, 65, 72, 73, 81, 85, 91, 95, 101, 106, 113 and 121. There are multiple formulas that are given to you on their own through errands rather than in bulk, even when they feel like they go together, such as jumbo drops. There are 4 jumbo drop alchemy recipes that correspond to each of the 4 familiar astral signs, and they are all given to you separately. Whilst recipe number 43 to create the Jumbo Sun Drop is given by the Sky Pirate NPC recipe giver, the rest are gained through errands. Alchemy recipe 44 for the Jumbo Star Drop can be gained as a reward for completing errand 21, A Tale of Woe, where you simply have to restore a Grimalkin's confidence in Ding Dong Dell. Recipe 45 is the Jumbo Moon Drop that can be gained by completing errand 57, The Mechanic's Lament, where you have to get a replacement booster from Rusty in Motorville and deliver it back to the Skull Mountain Pirate Quest giver. And finally, recipe number 46 that lets you alchemise Jumbo Planet Drops is given to you through errand 59, Moving On. For this errand, you have to speak to a ghostly girl inside a hidden cave southeast of Yule and level up her Jabberguppy from level 30 to level 40. Now you should have all the recipes you need to create jumbo drops for any familiar that needs to metamorphose to its final form. Alchemy Recipe 10 for Sage's Secret is given to you as a reward for correctly answering Horace's riddle on Tahiti. The formula to create a Highwayman's handgun for Swain, recipe number 139, is gained as a reward for defeating Porco Loco. And the Rogue's Revolver recipe number 128 is given upon first entering the Tombstone Trail. These ones are a little bit more random. The next errand, Notes of the Centre, errand number 85, is the final errand set by the British Diaryman. Of course, to unlock this, you had to have followed the chain of errands that see you finding the Diaryman's lost diary. For this errand, however, he is back in Ding Dong Dell, and his diary can be found in a new post-game only secret area, east of the large mushroom. Whilst here, be sure to speak to the large bunny in a suit to begin a huge questline called The Conductor, but you can worry about that later. For now, let's return the diary to the Diaryman for the last time to receive alchemy numbers 88 and 93. These allow you to alchemise the goddess's gown and shield. But this isn't the only post-game errand to grant new alchemy formula. The next errand is a difficult one, owing to the excellent alchemical rewards you get upon completion. Errand 78, the Master Alchemist, a quest that is definitely better left until post-game when rarer items can be more readily gained after the appearance of golden familiars in specific areas. This quest is given to you by an old man inside a cave on the genie's steps who wants to teach you advanced alchemical techniques. He asks you to first create a demon's axe. To create this, you will need a grand axe, 2 black wings and 3 tax stones. The Grand Axe can be purchased in Perdida for 14,500 guilders. Black wings can be gained as item drops or stolen using Swain's mugshot ability from relics familiars and Egyptian familiars found around Era Memorai, or the Sharp Hooter familiars in the Ivory Tower. Tax stones can be gained as item drops or steals from Toko Tokholds and Honky Tonkas in the Ivory Tower, Puss in Boots in the sea around Nazcar, Hurly Burly around Perdida, or Bone Brigadiers in Nevermore. Craft the demon's axe and show it to the old man, and he will next ask you to use the demon's axe to create a war god's axe. For this, you will need the demon's axe, of course, 5 Collider stones and 5 Scrolls of Truth. Collider stones can be gained from golden bedraggles in the Glittering Grotto, golden gobfathers in the Miasma Marshes, and golden Toko Tokholds in the Ivory Tower. I have personally had great success farming Collider stones from golden bedraggles in the Glittering Grotto. Scrolls of Truth are even rarer than Collider stones, but they can be dropped or stolen from golden hobgoblins in Miasma Marshes, golden honky tonkas on the Tombstone Trail, and golden tacos in the Vault of Tears. After about 100 hours, you should have the stuff you need, yay! And before some smart ass points out in the comments how it can't possibly take 100 hours, I'm obviously using hyperbole, look it up. In reality, it will probably take, maybe 60 hours? 40 if you are lucky? Maybe? Anyways, show the evil old man the war god's axe you made, and you will gain alchemy recipe numbers 60, 84, 94 and 97. All of this is war god's gear, and he will also give you 2 Troll's Tears, 2 glowstones and 5,000 guilders for your trouble. Later, if you complete rank A of the Solaceum series to obtain Heart of the Muse, you should show it to the old man to gain alchemy recipe number 127 that will allow you to alchemise a muse's harp. If you return to the old man again after completing Bounty Hunt 122 Whole Hog, that forms part of the Conductor questline, then he will give you alchemy recipe number 130, so you can alchemise a Cad's cannon. Easy, eh? The quest Totally Tidy Tools, errand number 132, is given to you by the fairy duo Smiley and Surly on the Iron Wyvern, and they need your help to get new ideas for weapons and attract new customers. First, you need to head to the fairy ground and watch the comedy show to get the first idea of the soppy slapstick. Next, go and speak to the fairy godmother for the second idea of a lullaby lance. The next idea, the flawed claws, can be found inside the sunflower room inside Mummy's tummy. Head back to Smiley and Surly and they will ask for one more idea, so you need to head to Oliver's house in Motorville. Go into the kitchen and check beside the sink to get the last idea of Mum's favourite pan. Return to Smiley and Hurley once again to finish the errand. You will receive alchemy recipe number 131 that will allow you to alchemise the pretty parasol, alongside 10,000 guilders and Blossom of the Bard. Don't forget to check out what goods Smiley and Surly have on offer at their shop as well. The next post-game errand is number 136 Great Great Grand Sage, which will only be available after completing the main story and all of Horace's riddles. If you need help with the Horace riddles, then I have previously uploaded a complete guide to all of Horace's riddles, which I will provide a link for. Return to Aram Memori and Horace can be found standing next to the most northern pot. Answer with Mornstar and head to the Tombstone Trail to meet Horace again. He can be found at the end of the path to the north and answer with Apep to progress the errand chain to the Vault of Tears. Horace can be found in the room where you fought the boss and is looking for the answer P. He then heads to the north section of the Glittering Grotto and you must answer with Bring Hope before he heads to his final location. His final location is outside the final boss room inside the Ivory Tower and he is looking for the answer Wizard's Companion. He will then give you alchemy recipes number 132, 133 and 134. With these you can craft the Bard's Harp for Esther, the Master Thief's handgun for Swain and the Skytree wand for Oliver, which is the best wand in the game and Marcusson can inherit Oliver's Mornstar wand. So that's it for the post-game errands that give you alchemy recipes and all of the recipes as a whole. Now you should have all 134 alchemy recipes. Let me know in the comments if you're still missing some alchemy recipes and I will do my best to help, but if you follow this guide then you should have all 134. I do hope this video has helped. I've been Heather at Amalgamingle and thank you very much for watching.